It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this solemn function organized this evening in remembrance, reverence, and regard to one of the foremost singers of our living memories on the occasion of his 43rd Barsi, the voice of eternal India, the golden voice of the silver screen, the one and the only Mohammed Rafi Saheb. Age and time have not weathered his music. They have not staled even with time. But with every passage of time, they have gained in fragrance and flavor. It might legitimately cross your minds as to why there is a spurt of activities in the Shanmukhananda Sabha when all through the 42 years since his demise, there has never been an occasion in this Sabha to bring home the greatness of the person other than his music. Countless number of performances, musical evenings have been held all during these 42 years. Plenty of them, unginat hai. But that was the only tribute that this institution ever paid to him. But today we thought, on this occasion when we remember him, it shall give us an opportunity to unfold the flow of events, the programs and the activities. इस महान कलाकार की जीवन यात्रा की जन्म शताब्दी, the centenary of this great artist, to be held between December 2023 to 2024. From the haunting melody of a vocal recital, to the sweet strains of a musical instrument, to the graceful moments of a dancer, to the joyous gathering of the parents and children of a neighboring school for their annual day, to the large AGMs and meetings of business houses and conglomerates, Maha-adhivations of nationally acclaimed political parties, the best of the choicest of what international opera on the stage of this institution, the Sabha's auditorium, has been a silent witness to all. Today it is more than an edifice. It's part of a living history. It's a monument of cultural synthesis, one singular object that in its multifaceted dimension and secular nature epitomizes the city it stands tall and proud in, and in a larger sense, the nation itself. The Sabha is a living tradition. Over the last 7 decades, the Sabha has furthered the cause of music and musicians, both of the yore and the current, with unremitting devotion and commitment. At every stage of ascendancy of an young artist, the Sabha has honored him or her and goaded them, motivated them to higher levels of achievements in the years ahead. Equally so, the Sabha has celebrated the centenary of Mahavidwans and Mahavidushis of our times. It is in continuation of that tradition that we would be celebrating the centenary of Rafi Saheb along with the World of Mohammed Rafi Welfare Foundation of the family, all of whom are present here today. Rafi Saheb was born in Kotla Sultan Singh on the 24th of December 1924 in the rural Amritsar district bordering Pakistan. The early years were not impressionable, but when the levels of income of his father stabilized, he was an excellent cook, and the dhaba that he ran in Lahore came to such levels that it was time for the family to relocate to Lahore, not far from Amritsar. The young lad was then 12 years old. One day around the house he saw a fakir who was roaming around. Full-throated he was singing gleefully, blissfully unmindful of the surroundings. Rafi followed him, started murmuring what he was singing. And as he retired to a mango tree, after that ritual of moving around, the young boy too came near him, and then he told him, "I want to sing the song that you have sung just now." He was astounded by the memory of this young lad, of having captured all that he has sung, and therefore he was too glad to see him sing before him. The melody of his voice captivated him as much as the fakir's voice had captivated Mohammed Rafi. And then he said, तुम्हारी आवाज कायनात पर हुक्म करेगी. One day, your voice will rule the world. That prophecy came true. And for 43 years, from that day when the Fakir gave his blessings to the young lad, Mohammed Rafi has been entertaining music listeners across the world, enchanting them and transporting them to a world of ethereal charm, bringing out a form of a sukoon, a comfort, the like of which can never be described in words. And the 43rd Barsi is very significant because 43 years in flesh and blood, Rafi Saheb gave live music to all of us. And for 43 years after his moving from the seen to unseen, his music is far more fresh, far more accepted than even during his living times. At the age of 24, he came to national attention. The country was in deep depression following the unmindful assassination of Bapu. Husainlal Bhagat set to music the lyrics of Rajendra Krishan, the voice of Mohammed Rafi that you all heard, Suno Suno Ye Duniya Walo, Bapu Ki Ye Amar Kahani. It was a form of rejuvenation to a depressed nation. Even the Prime Minister of the country's attention was drawn to it. He invited the young boy to come to his house and made him sing before him. He gave him a silver medal, and that was the first acknowledgement ever for the musical prowess of Rafi Saheb. For 32 years thereafter, Rafi Saheb united the country and the countrymen through the gift of Allah Ta'ala, which he had received in the form of that golden voice for the welfare of the country and its people. Adored by the young and the old, the rich and the poor, the high and the mighty and the low, the connoisseur and layman like us, Rafi's music did not know any of the conventional boundaries that you and I understand. The fame, the popularity of Rafi Saheb, posthumous, is far more greater than the one that he earned and enjoyed during his living times. The timeless, priceless heritage of Rafi's music shall forever remain a golden chapter in the history of Indian music. Rafi, the human being, was far more greater than Rafi, the musician. In the quicksands of the film industry, where ruthlessness is a way of life, several stars have been born and demised. Several heroes and heroines have been born and they have moved away. Rafi remains the only pole star, the Dhruvtara, dazzling like a diamond, brightly shining with intense luminosity with every passage of time. Rafi had the uncanny knack of modulating his voice to suit anyone on the screen, of course a male, on the screen, be it the lead actor, the hero, or the comedian, the character actor, or the extras, or for that matter, anyone who had to essay a role, a male, to essay a role in a film, Rafi's voice fitted them all. Be it the tragedy king, the thespian Dilip Kumar, or the chivalrous Raj Kapoor, the jubilee star Rajendra Kumar, or the comedian Johnny Walker, or the wild Shami Kapoor. It was one stitch that fitted all sizes. That was the depth, the versatility, the range and the expanse of music of Rafi. And it was sung in such a way that it was far beyond lip syncing. And the general viewer of the film would believe that the artist on the screen is singing. In the year 1957, Mother India hit the screens across the country. It was a runaway success. A new star was born. The prowess of Nargis as an actor came to light. It also blessed her and gave her a wedlock with Sunil Dutt and a wonderful family for the rest of her life. In that movie, set to music by Naushad, of the lyrics of Shakil Bitaini, one of the songs that Rafi sang exactly essayed his character. ना मैं भगवान हूँ ना मैं शैतान हूँ, दुनिया जो चाहे समझे मैं तो इंसान हूँ. आज उस इंसानियत की यहाँ पूजन हो रहा है, उसकी महानता और खूबियों का विशेष आराधना हम कर रहे हैं, और उसी के साथ एक संकल्प ले रहे हैं कि इस महान इस विभूति की जन्म शताब्दी को बड़े पैमाने पे सजाए, और हम सब मिलकर इस पे साकार हो जाए और सभी की योगदान इस पे रहे. Rafi breathed his last on this very day 43 years ago in the year 1980 at a very young age of 55 years. By relative standards of mortality, even during the early 1980s, Rafi had an early exit. We all know, the world knows, that he had a very sweet throat. And that is why the jihwa, from the nabi, the melody flowed and got translated into the wonderful music that we all are remembering for eternity. But the only limitation that Rafi Saheb had, he also had a sweet tongue. He cherished sweets and ultimately became a victim of diabetes, which devoured him. It is not in the number of years that you live, how long you live, that will make a difference. How well you live, that will make a difference. As the poet said, it's not like growing a tree in bulk that makes a man better be. We live in deeds and not in years. One crowded hour of glory is far more worth than a listless century without mention. Mere exposure to age, however prolonged it be, does not lend greatness to any person. A person may live a full 100 years. He may not be useful to himself, not even to people around. He may have no lofty vision or ideals to follow. These are all decrepit fossils which are only tolerated in the museums of the world. But he alone lives who lives for others. Yasmin jivati jivanti dina mitra bandavaha parasparam jivitam tasmai atmarto kona jivati. Who does not live for himself? I live for myself, you live for yourself, everybody for yourselves. But he alone lives who lives with the upliftment of humanity as a whole. Through that gift of Allah that came onto him, he served the larger cause of humanity, united people around the world through the wonderful music that he gave, that we continue to cherish today. Any excuse for celebrations are fine. Celebrations are of two types, of thanksgiving to the divine, or to keep behind and move forward in life, knowing full well that this life is eternal. This life is like a Christmas tree, evergreen and fresh. No amount of snow or storm can weather its petal. So too is the human spirit. Despite the clouds of adversity through which it passes, in a person's life sojourn, it always emerges triumphant. By its very nature, human spirit is celebration. But not all partying in life are celebration. Unless there is a purpose attached to that celebration, it won't become sacred. And when it becomes sacred, then the body, the mind and the soul will be in sync and on the same page. Therefore, when we decided to celebrate the centenary of Rafi Saheb, it was far beyond the joy, the mirth, the glee, the funfair, the revelry. And we wanted to adduce a purpose which will have the effect of a perpetual legacy to this great Kalakar that this country was blessed to have. And therefore I thought this is the occasion for me to tell you what are the objectives of our centenary celebrations. Beyond the fun, the frolic, the flow of music. First and foremost, we would like to upgrade these celebrations to pan-Indian and possibly pan-global. The Sabha will trigger the high-empowered committee of the Government of India mandated to celebrate the centenary of the makers of India to include Rafi Saheb in the makers of India. This committee was constituted in the year 2017 by the Honorable Prime Minister when I first wrote to him saying that the centenary of makers of India should be a national agenda. Readily accepting it, he constituted a very high-powered committee comprising of Rajnath Singh as the convener, the late Shri Arun Kumar Jaitley as one of the core members, and Dr. Mahesh Sharma, the then Minister for Culture, as another member. The only non-official member that he inducted into the high power committee was the President of the Sabha. We celebrated the centenary of Bharat Ratna Dr. Subbalakshmi for a record period of 3 years. 2015, the commencement year, 2016, the centenary year, and at the instance of Government of India, extended the celebrations to 2017 to join the government in the celebrations. Never before in the history of humanity has a person's centenary been celebrated for a period of 3 years, all through those 3 years. The greatest thing that flows from pan-Indian celebrations of the Government of India is, first the Government of India will release a commemorative coin, rupees 100, and also a circulation coin of rupees 10 for Rafi Saheb, for wide circulation among the masses of this country through the Government of India Mint in the Ministry of Finance. The Union Ministry of Post and Communications will release a Maker of India centenary commemorative stamp of a low denomination value of rupees 5 for wide circulation amongst the masses, particularly the rural masses who still today are using post and telegraphs. The Maharashtra Postal Circle, under whose jurisdiction we all fall, will release a special cover, Vishesh Anavaran, on the life and times of Rafi Saheb. The Maharashtra Postal Circle again will release a special postcard, a colorful postcard containing the image of Rafi Saheb, into which will be affixed that centenary stamp, 5 रुपये की टिकिया भी लगा देंगे उस पे, which the followers of Rafi and this countrymen can use extensively during the centenary year and even beyond. Much beyond this, the Government of India allocates for every maker of India a centenary budget of rupees 50 crores. I think we will be able, once we are successful in upgrading it to pan-Indian celebrations, we will appeal to the Government of India not to fritter the money for any celebrations which have no lasting legacy. We will therefore appeal to them to give the entire money for setting up a permanent memorial for Rafi Saheb in his Karma Bhumi, where he had lived, earned, maintained his family, and from where he was known to the world, namely the then Bombay and today's Mumbai Nagari. And we shall appeal through the central government to the state government to release a plot of land, probably in the western suburbs if they can, to set up a permanent lasting memorial. That will be the greatest tribute that can never be paid to Mumbaikars and lovers of music in this great city who had the fortune of living along with Rafi Saheb. The second objective which we have set for ourselves is Kotla Sultan Singh, the birthplace. The primary school, which is today named after him, where he studied, is in fact fairly well maintained. But still, there is a dilapidation which has come onto it. It is yearning for technology upgradation. So we thought we shall use the centenary year to extensively upgrade the primary school, and more particularly the third standard where he last studied, to be converted to a musical archive, not just for the benefit of the students of that school, but for every Rafi Bhakt who goes on a pilgrimage to his hometown and unfailingly comes to the school where he studied. It has a large open plot of land where we propose setting up a minar, a mini Qutub Minar or a minaret in the easy English term, I can say, preferably of 100 meters high. But then this village falls in the landing zone of the Amritsar airport, and therefore the height of whatever structure we put shall be determined with a sanction from the aviation authority and of course the local panchayat of the village. Whatever be the height up to which that minaret or minar will be constructed, it will have 100 blocks containing 100 of the choicest songs of Rafi Saheb, in not just in Hindi that we have here, in the 22 languages of the world in which he had sung. 2 more are there, but I am taking only 22, and they will be inscribed permanently over there. We are beholden to the General Officer Commanding Maharashtra, Gujarat and Goa for networking with his counterpart in the Chuk 10 Infantry at Amritsar to help the Sabha implement this project. And I am sure during the centenary year, this project will see the light of the day. It will be the fitting tribute that can never be paid to the young generation of students and to the countless number of people in Punjab who had the benefit of having the Putra who came from that place, adorning the world and bringing that place to the national and the international map. At the end of the centenary year, we propose setting up late Mohammed Rafi Saheb Centenary Memorial Award, an award which will be given on the 24th of December every year in our own Sabha, coinciding with his date of birth, to a young musician who follows the footsteps of Rafi Saheb. And if I were to borrow from the classical music world, which I understand better, Rafi Bani. But then Rafi was a university, far more than a university. Therefore, I would not be out of context if I were to say Rafi Gharana. If anybody, any young musician who follows Rafi Gharana, then we will bring him on to limelight. The award will carry a cash prize of rupees 5 lakhs. And there will be a concert every year following the awards function where the lead singer will be the awardee himself. This will be the surest way of perpetuating Rafi and his legacy amongst the young musicians and the generation of musicians who will follow in the years ahead. In our community charity healthcare hospital of our Sabha, we propose setting up a permanent endowment in the name of Rafi Saheb in our dialysis center. You will all be delighted to know that this is the only institution in the world where both fine arts and community health care are engaged with equal primacy. Nowhere in the world you will get a combination, except in Germany there is one, but not of the scale in which it is being done in this Sabha. You would be more happy to know that 2 of the facilities that we have set up, or I should not say because it's our institution, are probably the best that are available in this city. The renal care center, the dialysis center, is the second largest facility in the country. We do on an average 25,000 procedures, dialysis procedures per year. 90% of the patients are poor and deserving and who pay the Sabha for the sake of record rupees 50 per procedure. Some of them 100 rupees, that's the maximum that they would give. And we in turn give them free breakfast, free lunch or snacks depending on the session for which they come for dialysis. In the aggregate, it is zero cost for the patient and of course a big zero revenue for the Sabha. This is one of the most noblest of services that is being done in this city without the tutari or the conch or the blowing of the trumpet. And each year, the large-hearted city, we mobilize 5 crores of rupees for that patient subsidy for dialysis. You might wonder, what does Rafi Saheb to do with dialysis? Sir is sitting over there, why not for eye care? We have a beautiful eye care center. which is the envy of the city, because the way we do it, cataracts are free, and so anything could be done. But then now I am his master's voice for whatever he had said. So the veracity of it is yes, but I am replaying what he said when he came to me a few months before to examine the possibility of the centenary celebrations being done jointly. He told me that once Rafi Saheb was on a world tour for his concerts, and the children, all of them, gave a long wish list of all that they want from that foreign soil for themselves. Tucked into his baggage was all those they wanted. And they were greatly disappointed when he came back because he brought nothing of them. After a few days, as he said, a airway bill came through foreign air mail. The children thought that the father had played a prank on them. He in fact would have purchased all that they wanted, packed them and shipped them separately to India, and came home making them think that there is nothing for them. But then when the consignment came, the children were in for a greater shock. There was nothing of what they wanted over there, and there was a dialysis machine, which Rafi Saheb wanted to gift to an hospital which was in dire need of a dialysis. Those days dialysis was not conventional, and very few institutions in the country, very, very few, you can count them by number, had it. And therefore, the only way it could be accelerated to be brought back was that, and he brought that machine for him. It will be a permanent, lasting tribute to the legacy of this great Kalakar when we set up an endowment in the dialysis center which will manifest the love he had for renal impairment. And there can be no better way to perpetuate him amongst the ailing masses of this country than to give them the benefit of free medical procedures, all in his name and memory. Of course, all through the year, 24th of every month, we shall have the best of Rafi coming onto the stage. And we shall also ensure that every month it shall be theme-based. I had only given one restriction to them, that the month of August is meant for them. It should all be patriotic. All other months are your choice. You take any theme that you want for all lead actors from across the country. The best of singers of Rafi will be brought onto the stage, and we will have a memorable year where at least 12 concerts we shall have here in this auditorium. We propose setting up a dedicated website for the centenary celebrations, and also the full complement of the digital media, and specifically a centenary YouTube channel. Of course, all these things will be linked to the mother channel of the Sabha, but much more than that, this will give access to Rafi's followers all across the world. And I think one slot, my daughter told me that 45 lakhs people are his known list of followers, that is, who follow his music on the digital media. And that she told me that the best success rate in digital marketing is 1 to 1.5%. I said that's too big. So this will be a paid subscription channel which will live stream not only the music programs that will be on the stage, but all protocol programs and every other activity that we will do across the nation wherever Rafi Saheb had left his lasting impression. We began this evening with unveiling 3 kiosks and 2 statues and a bust. We are beholden to him for lending grace to the function by coming all the way, taking time out and inaugurating them. Statues and busts are required for ordinary little young fellows who are ever in dread of abortion of their decrepit celebrity status. They never perish who live in the hearts of people. Even as they move away from the physical plane, they graduate from ordinary mortals to deathless institutions. They become the warp and the woof, the thought and the aspirations of the succeeding generations. They carve for themselves a niche in the rocky temple of reverential gratitude. जिनके हम सदैव ऋणी है, we are permanently indebted to them. To that galaxy of noble men belongs Rafi Saheb. As I come to the end of my address this evening, deliberately structured long, because there is no other occasion that we shall ever get to unfold the details of our programs. Protocol programs will never allow any program beyond 1 hour, and where music is in full cry, speeches have no currency. And therefore, the only occasion that I could indulge to lay bare all the events of the year is now and now. Thank you for this patient listening. In the year 1954, 70 years ago, that was also the year of my birth, to the music of Hemant Kumar, of the Rashtra Kavi Pradeep Saheb, to the screen image of Abhi Bhattacharya, to that famous children's movie. It was a patriotic movie, Jagrati. It hit the stands. It was a great success, both for the songs and for the movie. Such was its popularity that it was brazenly copied. I had taken hours to go through the Pakistan version of Jagrati. I thought there will be little common sense, except that type of edition where Azad Kashmir comes. As it is, they come. And the songs that Rafi sang, as it is, except that the male voices were from Pakistan. But then tell me, why will you copy unless the original is good? So it's a testimony not only to the music of Rafi Saheb, to the movies that were made during that time for the young generation which were experiencing independence for the first time. Rafi sang, हम लाए तूफान से किश्ती निकाल के इस देश को रखना मेरे बच्चों संभाल के. We have brought freedom from the stormy seas and anchored it in the shores of safety and left it into the safe custody of the young generation. Rafi had great faith in the generation next, and more particularly the generations following. India today is in the cusp of a transformational change. She is the fastest growing macroeconomy in the world today. And as the Prime Minister said recently, she will emerge as the third largest economy in another 2 years from time. India is also the most populous nation on the earth today, displacing China. 2 out of 7 people who tread this earth are either Indians or Chinese. But what is more interesting is 1 out of 13, that privilege China does not have. 1 out of 13 is an young Indian. More than 53% of India's population of 1.41 billion today is below the age of 25. They are the architects of our destiny. They are the shapers of this nation. They are the movers and shakers of the events of this nation. They are equal to the task. In their safe hands is given the sovereignty, the security, the safety, and the freedom of this nation. And I am sure they will take this nation to its rightful place amongst the committee of nations and emerge it as the most dominant economic powerhouse in the world during this Amritkal period of 2022 to 2047, by which time India will celebrate the centenary of its independence. Not just that, they will mobilize all the inherent strengths of this nation, all that is Indian, its culture, its tradition, its practices, its religion and philosophies, and unrationed share it with nations of the world as a way forward for all of them. That will be the best tribute that we can ever pay to the makers of this nation, to which Rafi Saheb rightly belongs to. May we all be blessed to be part of this journey, of this pilgrimage of progress of this nation. May we all be equally blessed to realize the India of our dreams. Thank you.